think you've started the broadcast, so.
Oh. Okay, sorry, I didn't. All I did was I clicked on share, so show. Sorry. Can you stop? Can I stop it or?
We've got some. Hello, I can see we've got an attendee with us. If you'll just bear with us one moment, we're just prepping for the webinar, so do accept my apologies. So I'm just going to take back control and go to the first page of the presentation. Okay.
Yep.
So to any attendees currently with us, we will be starting the webinar just after 11 o'clock. So thank you for attending, but we will have a short period before we start.
Okay, so from my point, yeah, that's all perfect. That's as we checked before. So I've definitely got different options on here to share. So yeah, I'm good to go. So yeah, I'll just mute myself until we're ready to begin.
All right, fantastic. Thanks very much for checking that, Sue. Good morning, everyone. And to any attendees that have just joined us, thank you for coming to this webinar. We'll be starting in a few minutes. We're just going to wait until just after 11 to allow any other attendees to join. Good morning to any new attendees. We're just waiting until 1 minute past 11 and then we'll get the webinar underway. Okay, fantastic. Thank you to all of you that have joined us this morning for this webinar on making the most of the e-library. My name is James Mayers. I'm the Member Journey Manager for the CQI and EBSCO. Myself and my team are the first point of contact for all of our members, whether they have questions about their benefits, renewals, regrading, whatever it might be. We'll be the team that are supporting you by phone and email. And today I'm joined by Sud from EBSCO, who will be taking part in the webinar and helping me describe the e-library and how you can make the most of it. So before I go any further, can I just ask for those attending to just quickly confirm in the questions section of the taskbar that you can hear me clearly? If anyone could just quickly confirm that there, just by typing yes. Perfect. Excellent. I can see a few confirmations coming up there. Thank you very much for that. So, right, what's to come today? I'll give you a brief overview of the e-library. We'll then look at how you might use it, where you can find it, and then I'll be handing over to Sud, who will run through some of his own slides and then take you to the live system and give you a walkthrough there. And at the end of the webinar, there'll be a chance for you to ask any questions you have, and we'll support you with those questions. I expect the webinar to last around 40 to 45 minutes in total. And at the end of the session, we will send out a video link to all of you so you can refer back to any points in the webinar, or if you have to drop out at any point, you'll have that to come back to should you need to. Okay, so let's have a brief overview of the e-library. So it's a searchable platform, a bit like Google, but giving you a lot more options in how you refine your searches. and enabling you to bookmark content so you can come back to it whenever you need to. It contains a wealth of quality related journals, magazines and publications. I've included a few images and bullet points there just to give you an idea of the breadth of the content you can find within the eLibrary platform. As you can see, there are some industry journals, but there's also more general interest content there as well. And just to give you some stats, there's over 4,500 business magazines and journals and trade publications. There's over 1,500 full-text newspapers with same-day currency. There's over 1 million company profiles, over 2 million TV and radio transcripts. So there's a lot of content available to you through the eLibrary. And what can you use it for? Well, it depends. You could use it for multiple things throughout your membership, but just to give you an idea, if you're coming to it for the first time, you might want to use it for study. You might be studying towards a qualification and need access to research papers and relevant and reliable academic content from leading academic publishers, societies and university presses. That's all available within the eLibrary. It could be that you want to research a competitor and look at some market research on their product reviews, news articles related to them, etc. Or you could be putting together a report or white paper you need to find some research on, or you might just like to dig a bit deeper and understand a particular topic. These are all ways in which you can use the eLibrary. There's also the general interest angle. So you saw on the previous page, there was a number of general interest magazines available to you through the eLibrary, such as New Statesman, Time Magazine, or the Harvard Business Review. And it could be that you already pay for some of those separately. The eLibrary could be a tool in which you can save some money by cancelling those subscriptions and accessing them all from one place on the internet, on the go. So whatever you're using it for, it's a powerful tool with a lot of content. And now, if you don't mind, I'd just like to run a little poll to give us an indication of what you are already or might use it for. So I'll just launch that poll now, and you should see that pop up in front of you. So if you just tick the ones that are relevant to you, I'll give you a minute or so to do that. Okay, so a few more votes coming in. Okay, any last votes before I close that poll? Hopefully I can share that with you. Okay, so a few people haven't voted, but I'll close that now. So I'll just share that. So looking at the results from that poll, I can see 33% of those people that have answered have said they're using it for study. Again, we've had 33% say research, 17% have said general interest, and 33% have said other. However, there's obviously these numbers are adding up to more than 100%, and the reason for that is that people could tick multiple options there. 50% of the marks were for I'm not using it yet. So an interesting mix. It's good to see people are getting lots out of the platform. And those that aren't using it yet, hopefully you'll see today how useful it can be, and you can go away and make the most of it. Right, so back to the slides. So if you aren't using it yet and you're unsure where to find it, it's a member-only benefit, and you can access it through the members area of our website. So you sign into the members area, and then if you look at that image on the left, that's the landing page of our members area. So if you scroll down, you'll see those large buttons, and at the bottom in the middle there, you'll see there's a button for the e-library, so you can access it that way. Or if you go to the navigation bar in the members area, you'll see the yellow button on the left-hand side at the top. Under members area, if you scroll down to My Professional Development, you'll then have the option to select e-library there. So 2 ways you can get to the e-library page. So this is the page you'll see within our website, within the members area. And when you come to this page, there's a little bit of an explanation there. You can see a link on the right-hand side with a button, Visit the e-library. Now, if you click that button, that will take you through to the e-library and allow you to start doing your searches. There's also at the bottom of this page, if you scroll down, there's 2 videos which are quite useful if you haven't used the e-library before, or if you're coming back to it after a while. The first one is a general tutorial on using the e-library, and the second one is a more advanced look at the search functionality available to you. So well worth a look there, just as a refresher to build your knowledge of using the platform and making the most of it. And this is the page you'll see once you click through into the e-library. So you can see the search bar in the middle there and a number of click links around it and below. And this is where you can begin your journey of using the e-library platform itself. And at this point, I'm going to hand over to Sud. So if you'll just bear with us one moment, I'll pass over control and he can give you a more detailed look at it. Oh, sorry, the poll finally pops up, so I'll just drop that.
Thank you, James. Hopefully, again, everybody can hear me. So welcome to today's session. As James said, my name is Sud Bemath and I'm from EBSCO. So what I want to do is just really take you through the EBSCO product itself. Again, looking at your poll results, interesting that we've got a complete cross section of users on here. So hopefully you'll find this session quite useful. Those of you who have not used it before, I'm certain that you will find things that you will want to have a look at. And for those of you who have been using it for research and study, hopefully I can show you some other things that you may not have considered yet that may affect the way that your results are coming back. Now, I am just going to try and share, and typically we ran through this earlier and it was all fine, but right now James, I'm not sure if you can maybe just try and share that again with me, because all I can see on the screen at the moment is the quick poll and it seems to have frozen at that screen.
Okay, I do apologize. Let's see if we can close that out. Okay, so I've just removed the poll, hopefully. So I'm just going to take back control and then I'll hand over to you again. So I do apologize to everybody. So let's try this one more time. So I'm just making you the presenter again. Okay, I can see your PowerPoint screen now.
Right. Okay, so right, let me run this. Okay, again, apologies for slight technical issues there, but hopefully you can all see the PowerPoint I have on screen. I'm going to shoot through this, certainly not death by PowerPoint. It's only a few slides, and in fact, James has done a great job of covering some of it already. But again, just to reintroduce myself, I work for EBSCO, and I'm one of the trainers that really help you through these sort of products and get the best out of them as well. So today, the agenda that we've got set for you is an overview of the resource itself. We're going to look at the relevancy sort, so that's how the results are actually coming back. And then I'm going to take you through the sort of the basic searching, what most of us are going to use, and also show you some of the advanced features as well that you might find quite useful. Look at some of the other features and tools that are associated with it as well. And as well as the support that you'll get through James and his team, I'll also talk to you about some additional EBSCO support that is free and available for everybody to access at any point in time. So we've already looked at some of these facts and figures. Again, you can see a huge amount of magazines and journals available, as well as newspapers and feeds, and again, that sort of same day currency. So what we're saying about that is we're updating this resource on a daily basis. You're able to see information as it's loaded real time into the resource itself. Now the results, again, we'll spend some time looking at this when we go into the live demo in a moment. But basically what I wanted to do is just give you an idea of what actually happens when you type in your keywords. So as James said, this is very similar, the way that it's built, to something like a typical web resource such as Google. But as you're typing in the search terms, this is what's actually happening. So what we're doing is we're taking your search term, we're looking at all the authors that are associated to articles and resources that are available in there. We're looking at the subject that are associated with each of those articles. So again, for those of you who are a little bit more used to that, it's based on the Library of Congress subject headings. Now they're associated to each one of the articles in there. We'll then look at the keywords and the title, information, and abstract as well. So that just gives you an idea of how your results are actually being returned. Now, of course, for those of you who are doing a little bit more advanced research or come from a slightly different angle, there are certain other ways that you can manipulate the way the results are coming back, and we'll talk about that as well. We also have a smartphone app that is available, and as we know nowadays, to be honest, some of these smartphones are just as big as the screens on them are so big, they're as big as tablets, some of these smartphones. So we've recently revamped that app as well, and it's of course available on Google Play as well as the App Store as well. Again, if you need any information on that, that is fully available on our website as well. Okay, so now I'm going to just switch over and go into a live demonstration. So just bear with me for a second while my screen probably just catches up with you for a second. And now, hopefully, you can all see our search page. Now, as we said, it's very much built like something that you would use on a daily basis, and the example we've already talked about is Google. So we've got this search box here, and as I start typing in my search terms, what it's going to do, it's going to try and anticipate what I'm looking for. And again, based on what other users who are using the EBSCO systems have been doing as well, again, very, very similar to Google. If we started typing in quality today, it's going to give us that same sort of suggestions. So as I carry on and look for the search term that I want to, I'll simply click on that. And in fact, just before I do that, I'm just going to actually just give you an idea of what it's actually doing. So you can see on here that we've got these search modes. Now these are set, these are what we call predefined. So at the moment, what it's going to do is it's going to take my search term and it's going to run a Boolean phrased search on that. Now, for those of you who are familiar with that, so what it's doing is it's phrasing my search term and it's returning my results based on that. However, there is a slight caveat to that. The way that the system is set, so if I type in, oops, excuse me, quality research, for example, what it's going to do is it's going to phrase that, but within 5 words of each other. So I'll give you an example of that. So the first time I run that search, what you will find is we are going to get 22,329 results back. Now, again, it's based on that sort of Boolean approach, that phrased approach. However, if I now run that again, and this time I put the quotation marks around it, you will see we're going to get a slightly different result set back. So you can see it's actually dropped quite a few of those results. Now, you can probably see with these first 3 results where it's bolded the actual terms itself. So as I said, from the first time that you run your search without making any changes, it's going to run that search, but it's going to give you a slight buffer. So as I said, it allows within 5 words of each other. But if you are really looking for something where you want to phrase it, do bear in mind that you probably want to do something like this. And that's really going to refine your results a little bit further. Now, that's how we narrow down the results. What I'm going to show you again is if we look at these search options, and I'm going to run the same search, but this time what I'm going to say is I also want you to read any full text that's available. Now, although we're not limiting our results to full text, as we have looked at with some of the figures, there is a lot of full text available. So if I now run that search again, in fact, let's put it back into quotations so we can compare it to the 3,000 odd that we got before. But I now say, actually, I also want you to search the full text, so the PDFs that are associated with my results. We will see we're going to get back a completely different result set. So it's now gone to 26,000, so just under 27,000 results have now appeared. Now, if I go into result number 1 as an example, just to show you what we're looking at. So if you remember that screen that we pulled up before, you can see the sort of fields that we're looking at. So we're looking at the subject terms. We're looking at, obviously, if I put an author name in there, we'd be looking at that field as well. We're looking at the title as it's come up, the abstract information. So essentially that's where most of our results will come from without making any change. However, as I have also enabled the search, the full text, it's looking at the PDF as well. So again, as I said, it really is important for those of you who have run some searches and you may not have necessarily got that results that you're expecting. A good tip is to, and just go back to results list, and I'll show you where you can do it from here as well, is to look at the limiters that we've got. So it says limit to, and if we click on show more, we get a similar option that I used from the initial search. So do have a look at that option to search within the full text of your articles. And again, you can very quickly change our search modes from here as well. So as I said, although we're looking at that Boolean phrase, maybe if we were typing more keywords in there, again, if you bear in mind that it is phrasing that search, so if we were typing maybe 4 or 5 keywords in there, we may want to change the search mode to find all of my search terms. Now, at any point, when you see a question mark, if you click on that, it will take you to that relevant EBSCO support. So if I click on the question mark by search modes here, you will see that it will take me into an area that really focuses on the search mode. So it gives me some descriptions on that as well. Now, at the start, I also mentioned that we have what we called a default search, where it's looking for what we call those key areas. If you're looking to potentially search outside of what we call that unqualified search, and again, this is for those of you who are really into that type of more advanced research. But if you have a look, you've got things like the searchable tags that you can associate as well. So for example, if we were looking for something like a date of published, if we were put into DT before our actual date, you would get that up as well. And you can see things like your NAS codes as well. So again, for those of you who are looking to do a little bit more of a detailed search rather than keyword searching, you have got those searchable fields that you can use. Now, if you actually click on advanced search, what you will find is it changes the search a little bit. So we have now got some additional fields, but we've also got these field codes that we could potentially use. So this is really the most popular ones that most people would use, but as we looked at just a moment ago, there are a lot more field codes that you can use as well. But that's why you may potentially want to use the field code. So again, if we were looking for something that was specific to a subject term, a Library of Congress subject heading, we could just narrow that down to subject terms from there. Okay, so just going into one of the results. So if we just click on result number 4. Oops, sorry, apologies, I'm not sure why that's happened. Just because I'm using my internal VPN, it does occasionally just chuck me out of the system. So certainly it's not something that you should face. But going back to our search screen, actually, just before we go into results, we've looked at searching using the search box, but you can see there are some predefined journals, for example, some of the popular journals that we potentially want to have a look at. I could jump straight into any one of these by clicking on that. You've got some how to use the resource as well, and you've got some relevant news and information on here as well. So as we said, if we wanted to jump into a particular journal, a couple of ways that we can do that. We can use these pre-selected ones down here, but you can also look at the publications across the top. Now, as you go in here, you can see you've got a couple of different options. So we're really looking at this search box here. We can look at those that are related to subjects, or potentially if we're looking for a particular name journal. So if I'm looking for Harvard Business Review, as an example, I could just jump to it from here. And if you click on that, you get like a table of content. So I could then go into it by volume and issue. So if I expanded 2020, I could go into the latest volume and issue. Now with these resources or these journals that are associated with the resource, what you will see is you will see the coverage that you have on there. So again, something like Harvard, we've actually got it from the very first published issue on there. So you can see you've got full text available right to present. And as I said, if you wanted to go into any of the issues, you could simply click on that and it would bring those articles up for you. Now, as we go into the result itself, what you will notice down the right-hand side, we've got a number of tools that are associated. So if you use something like your own Google Drive, your Gmail account, you will see you've got that ability to save it to there. You can add it to a folder, which we're going to do, and I'll talk about that in a second. You can print, email, save, as you would certainly expect. Now you've got a citation option. By clicking on that, what you will see is it gives you those popular citations. Now, Harvard is definitely the one that I'm normally asked for the most. So you can see I can certainly just grab that and drop that straight into my references section on any work that I'm completing. You've got export managers for those of you who use that, all the popular ones are there. Now you also have a permanent link. Now, maybe if you're working on, maybe you're working on a paper with someone or a project with someone, and you want to maybe share a particular article with them, by clicking on the permanent link, you will see it gives us this option here. Now, what users tend to do is they tend to go for the top URL. Now that's just a session URL, so that's going to last for around 10 minutes. But if you want a permanent link into this article, this is what you would need to do from here. And of course, you've got the article in a HTML format, and you can also listen to that, and you can actually download it onto an MP4. You've got some accents that you can change as well. Okay. Okay, so we talked about the folders earlier, and I'm just going to add a few things to that. So as you notice, as I add these articles to my folder, it changes the icon slightly. Now, the folder that we have is what we call a temporary folder. So as long as my session doesn't crash, and you've probably noticed already, mine has crashed a few times. So if it takes me quite a while to work on the results that I'm looking for, and my results had crashed out, I would lose anything that's in my temporary folder. Now, to turn this into a permanent folder, what you need to do is you need to sign in with your EBSCO host folder. So think of this as more like a borrowing card. So if we think of the resources like going into the library, you can do any research that you like without having to sign in or anything like that additionally on there. Now, if, however, you want to store this permanently, think of this as more of a sort of a borrowing card. So I'm going to click on sign into my EBSCO host folder, and hopefully that will work in a second. I'm going to do this again. Apologies, as you can see, I'm certainly experiencing some issues with my laptop today. So let's just run another search, and hopefully this time it's going to work. So I'm adding that to my folder, go to the folder itself, sign in. And what it's going to do is it's going to give me an option. Now, again, those of you who've got something like a Gmail account, you can pre-populate the information with that. If you don't, or you just want to create your own, go to create one now, and it's a very quick form. Now, it's not one of these where I'm going to need to go back and verify it with my email address. I can create this on the fly. As long as the username is unique to anybody using an EBSCO resource. So again, to use an example, if we were to go to something like Gmail to try and set up a Gmail account today, chances are if my name was John Smith, I'm not going to get johnsmith@gmail.com. I'm going to need something that's unique. So as long as it's unique to you, that's probably the most difficult part on here. You then need to consent that we have your username and your email address. You're certainly not going to be added to any mailing lists or anything like that, but you've got full access to the policy and the terms of use on there. Now, let me just try and sign in with an account that I have created earlier. And you will see, as well as those two items, any other items that I've previously added are now saved to my folder. Now, this is a completely cloud-based folder. So as long as you access it I believe you've got a year and a half. So as long as you access it at least a year and a half, once in a year and a half, all your items will still be in your folder. Now, once you've got that folder, as I said, that's permanently stored on there. For those of you who are, again, more sort of detailed researchers, you've got things like your saved searches that you can do. You can set up some alerts, which we'll talk about next, searches as well as journals. So if I run another search just to show you what I mean by that. So let's say, for example, I've run a search and it's not quite brought back the results that I'm looking for. So maybe something has changed in the news, that something has broken today. There's been a new policy or something along those lines to do with soft drinks. Whilst we said that this is updated on a daily basis, we are reliant on the publishers sending us that information. But what I can do, once I've signed into my folder, I can click on share from here and I can create an email alert. So by going to that email alert, you can see actually it's telling me that I need to be signed in. So once I'm signed in, I can just say, send me articles that were published, and I'm using my example, I'd probably say within the last month. Now, the reason you've got variations is we are continually adding to this resources. So although we've given you some figures at the start, the resource itself does continually have newer content added to it, so you can be specific that way. But using our example, we'd be looking at something that has appeared within the last month, and we would just save that alert. Now, again, you can also do that with journals as well. So if you were keen on a particular journal, such as this one, and you were looking for, let's say we're waiting for, I don't think there probably is a fifth issue, but let's say that there was a fifth issue and we were waiting for the latest issue to be added. Once you get to this page, if you click on share, again, you could just set up an email alert. So that it just tells you that it's been updated with the latest volume and issue number on there. And as I said, you will notice that you will need to be signed in to be able to create an alert from there. Okay, now the final thing, just before I hand back to James, and just in case we've got any additional questions or so, if at any point you do need any other support on here, again, maybe if you're more interested in how we've gone through that advanced search, or you want to look at things like combining and using the field codes, we have our EBSCO support, which we call EBSCO Connect. In fact, from something like Google, if you type in EBSCO support, it will still take you to our Connect site. And from here, you've got lots of product help. You can go in, you can have a look at our what we call our EBSCO databases. And then from here, you can look at some additional support. So again, if we were looking at our business searching, you can see we've got best practices, lots and lots of information, tutorials, as I said on that. If you wanted to have a look at advanced searching, you can run those tutorials from here. So that's available from what we call our EBSCO Connect, which will be at the bottom of the page, or if you go to Google and just type in EBSCO support, it will take you there as well. And as you can see, some of them have been preloaded. You've got some help sheets on here already as well. So that comes to the end of what I wanted to show you and take you through. Again, I'll hand back over to James, and we'll wait for any sort of questions and answers that may come in, and do our best to answer from there.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Sud. That was really good to see, and I think that highlights just how technical you can get with your searches should you wish to. But I should say as well that you don't have to go to that level of detail with your searches. You can just go to the EBSCO page and just use that search tool in the middle there, or just click on the links. You don't need to go into that level of detail if you're not an advanced user, but it's good to know they are there if you really want to refine your searches. So following on from that, I know we had some technical issues earlier, and some people were saying they couldn't see the pages that we were showing. So just to quickly revisit those, when you log into the members area, you can get to the eLibrary page either using the large buttons on the landing page, or using the top navigation and going down to My Professional Development and then the eLibrary. This is the page you'll see on our website in the members area, and that link there, that button, Visit the eLibrary, is how you can visit the eLibrary search page. Right, so having said all of that, are there any questions from anyone now that we can help with? So I'll just quickly go down to the question panel. Right. So someone's asking if they could have your slides. Sud, yes, we can. I'm sure we can share those, so we can get those sent out to anyone who needs them. So someone was saying about not being able to see the slides where we access the eLibrary. I hope I've covered that for you now, but if not, do let me know. So someone's also asking, what is the level of coverage of more academic journals? Business Source, Corporate Plus does not produce returns for me compared to other searches. Can I hand that one over to you, Sud?
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of the journals that are covered, I think, James, maybe you may want to just share, just give me the screen options again.
Okay, yeah, of course. So that's handed back to you now.
Yep, so hopefully you can see on my Safari page, my browser page. So in terms of your question, I'm just seeing whether I can see the questions. I'm not sure why I can't, so I'll probably have to just rely on James on this. So what you're basically saying is, as you're searching, you're potentially not getting back results that you would expect. Now, I can certainly, and I can forward this on to James as well, if there was a specific area that you were interested in or that you're doing your research in, we could let you know which journals are included from there. Now, what you will tend to find is most of the top areas such as marketing, finance, we have the top journals in there. So it may be useful. Again, I'm happy for James to share my information with you if you maybe sent me an email of maybe the searches that you've been trying, and I can potentially help you with that. But once you come into this area here, potentially if you maybe look at the publications, and I'm going on the fact that you're probably looking for a certain subject, or you're looking for coverage in a certain subject. If you maybe search by subject, so if I look for marketing journals, for example, you will see obviously I've got lots and lots of journals that are available on there. Now, as James was saying, I could simply just go straight into, without having to use an advanced search or something like that, and type in brand marketing. Now, obviously, something like this, you're going to expect I'm going to get lots and lots of results. And what I'm going to do is just very quickly refine this without going into any advanced searching or anything like that. So I'm just going to refine this to look at full text results only. So I've still got around 45,000 odd results. Now, the other option that we talked about is potentially you may be typing in keywords expecting various results back, but do bear in mind at the moment it's set to that Boolean search with a caveat of that it's got 5. You've got that slight expansion where it's searching within 5 words of each other, but you might want, what you might find is by you just changing that to find all of my search terms, it may give you a slightly different result set back. So either potentially look at changing your search modes or searching within the article itself. Again, just by, I'm going to make those 2 changes on there. So we've got 45,659 as it stands, but just by making that slight change, providing my screen hasn't frozen and crashed out again, which I think it might have. No, there you go. So you can now see my results have completely changed. I've got 1.4 million. So I would think it's possibly just a few tweaks that you may need to make on how you're actually searching. As I said, it would be useful if I could find out exactly what you're looking for, and I could assist you further from there.
That's fantastic. And yeah, as Sud says, if you email through to me any specific questions you have at jmayers@quality.org or through to membership@quality.org, we will then take up those queries, and if we can't answer them ourselves, we'll obviously go to Sud and our other contacts at EBSCO, and we'll get those sorted for you. We've had one other question here. Someone's asking, can you demonstrate how you would view competitors' work? I don't know that we can view competitors' work as such, but we can certainly look up competitors on the EBSCO search. So we were talking when we were going through the slides about looking at market research, product reviews, news articles. Could you show us something along those lines?
Yeah, so absolutely. So if you go to, so again, we could do that from the basic search. You could type in a company name from here. You've also got some help down here. So what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to just do it from company information. So you've got company information and company profiles as well. And again, apologies, my screen is very slow. So as you can probably see, as I'm clicking on things, it's not quite in real time. Okay, I'm going to have to reload this again. I do apologise, Sis, and yeah, we did some runs before, and there was absolutely no issues. But technology, as it likes to do, sometimes does provide us with some challenges. So I have to just keep going through this back end. Okay, so company profiles, for example, and again, I'm not sure what companies you're looking for, but you've got that ability to just search for a company or match any keywords. Now, I'm just going to pick on this company as an example. Now, what you will find is it brings up your information here, and then you've got a report on it as well. So if you open up this report, you've got a PDF, and it gives you that company information. That's one way of doing it. Now, if I go to company information as well, you can type in a company that you're looking for. So if I type in, I don't know, I'm going to just type in, just because I was working with them earlier today. If I type in BMW, for example, you can see I've got all the variations of that. If I go into their holdings, I've got the financials, the executive, the industry information, plus more on there. Now, I can also just run that from my basic search. So without having to go into any of those, I'm going to run a search for BMW. And then when I go to the source types, you will see that I've got things like reports that I could use. I've got overviews. And then as I go down, I could narrow that down even more. So the easiest ways that I would probably suggest that you search for competitive information is to, first off, run it from the basic search. So run it from here. If you're finding that there is a lot of information there, go to the company profiles, and then you've also got the company information as well.
Okay, fantastic. That was really helpful. Are there any more questions for either myself or Sud on how you'd use the e-library? Okay, it doesn't look like we've got any more questions. So thank you very much for attending. Apologies for the various technical issues that we've had there. We'll look to get those sorted for the next webinar. If there's anything else, please do let us know. You will receive a video copy of the webinar in the next couple of days by email. If you have any questions, as I said, if you please do email either myself at jmayers@quality.org or the membership team, membership@quality.org. We'll try to support you, but if they're technical on the e-library side, we've got the support of EBSCO to get those answered for you. And we'd be happy to send over Sud's slides as well. He'll provide them to me after the webinar. So if anyone particularly wants those, please do let me know and I'll get those sent across to you. Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for attending, and we hope to see you again soon.